In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws.
If I were in Congress in 1995, I would have also stood. Because I wasn't, I stand here today.
A congressman just pulled Bill Clinton's own words on illegal immigration and then played them in the hearing here, guys. Listen to what Bill Clinton said in 1995.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Standing ovation? Is that guys, is this everyone in the room? Come on, guys. And this is exactly why I say this all the time. I don't believe nothing a modern day Democrat is saying, specifically if they existed in the political sphere in the 90s or early 2000s. This is why I do not believe nothing they're saying now. I think that they're just trying to stay in power, bro. They are, in fact, just saying whatever is needed to basically coddle Gen Z.
You believe in open borders and complete chaos. Did you notice the bipartisan support in the chamber?
Sure did.
As the video was played, everybody was clapping.
Right.
In that chamber. If I were in Congress in 1995, I would have also stood. Because I wasn't, I stand here today. Other than President Donald J. Trump, the greatest president in my lifetime with the most safest and secure border, I believe President Clinton understood just how important border security is to our nation. But boy, oh boy, have times changed. 28 years later, the left has gone off the rail. They've gone completely nuts. They've done just the opposite of what the leader of the Democrat Party, President Clinton, stood for on border security in 1995. This committee's ranking member, he was in Congress in 1995. I assume he stood. It seemed like the majority, if not all of the entire chamber,
right,
they stood. Matter of fact, Mr. Clinton delivered his speech in the third year of his first term. And he was reelected in 1996. He beat Bob Dole, won by over 8 million votes, won the Electoral College 379 to 159. He had the support of the American people, and I'm going to assume the ranking member also voted for Bill Clinton in 1996. We have two other members, Ms. Jackson and Ms. Lofgren. They were both freshmen at the time. I will assume they stood during that powerful speech as well. And do you know why they supported and voted? They voted for legislation in 1996 strengthening our immigration laws. I applaud them for that. So what's changed, folks? What's changed with the Democrat Party? I'll tell you what's changed. If you wouldn't have heard President Clinton's voice or seen his face, you would have thought Donald Trump delivered that speech. I don't believe that President Clinton was called a racist, a white supremacist who hated immigrants, as the left and the dishonest media has painted Donald J. Trump to be.
You're correct.
I have a report from the Heritage Foundation titled Tracking Movement of Illegal Aliens from NGOs to Interior of the USA. Why do you think NGOs have moved illegal immigrants to 431 of the 435 congressional districts? The truth is, hear me, it's because the Democrats' progressive policies are not acceptable to Americans. Heritage obtained a sampling of approximately 30,000 cell phones that were tracked to NGOs along border states. They tracked approximately 22,000 devices at 20 NGO locations in January 2022. The same devices were later traced to 431 separate U.S. congressional districts, and of the 52 with the highest rate of tracked devices, 71 of them were Republican congressional districts. The report revealed that it's not a coincidence, folks. The flood of illegal immigrants means a continued rise in surplus laborers. That surplus drives down the wages of existing middle-class and lower-class job holders until they leave the job forces, and then they're forced to go on welfare with the hopes that they will become loyal supporters of the Democrats. That's what this is all about.
Basically, yeah. I mean, that along with like seats in general, but yeah.
About talking about Indiana. Because the violence and the mothers that we have to comfort are losing children due to the guns and the carnage and the lawlessness unleashed by those states. I move on. For context,
okay,
the NRA spent about $250 million in 2020 alone. That's more than twice the entire salary of Congress combined in 1 year, lobbying against gun safety laws. There's also this discussion about anything but a gun, but that these are about violent people. But yet we aren't doing anything about addressing the actual root causes of misogyny, where 2/3 of mass shootings are connected to domestic violence. Or the emergence of white supremacy radicalization.
Guys, I generally have a really hard time listening to AOC when she speaks here. And a lot of it just comes down to, I don't believe nothing that she says here, right? I mean, her, along with Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, like these are the type of individuals that will say one thing, but in their own personal life do the exact opposite. Like she's blaming white supremacy on firearms. I'm confused by this here, guys. I carry guns. I absolutely have a concealed carry license here. So I'm just confused with, what does one thing have to do with the other? And the fact of the matter here is that my firearms have never gotten up and done a single thing. All right. Like it's right there. It's not doing anything, bro. So yeah, it's in fact the person that is in fact holding said firearm and whatever like mental instability that person potentially is going through that is holding said firearm. Now let's move on from AOC because she says everything is racist, and same thing with Ilhan Omar, everything is racist. Everyone is racist that doesn't look like her or have a similar culture as her, but yet they're both married to white men in America. So I'm confused with this here, right? Ilhan Omar also fighting for the idea of not allowing, for the most part, wealthy people to exist, but yet she's wealthy. In general here, it's impossible to believe anything that comes out of their mouth because in their own personal practices, they do the exact opposite of what they're basically dictating. All right, so let's move on from that. Under no circumstance am I even surprised at all that a Democrat changed up their act. And I'm talking about completely here. There seemed to have been a gigantic shift around 2008, 9, 10, somewhere in that range there, where like the communists entered into the realm here. The Democrat Party went from being the party of, okay, they're just slightly different. It was really not much. They stood for some social issues, a couple of them, let's just say this here, but they were not gigantic. All right. And like so niche that other people look at it and they're just like, yeah, I don't know if I can side with that, bro, right? But nowadays, like when I start seeing people from like TYT, for example, Anna Kasparian, start kind of espousing what would now be considered Republican talking points, I'm like, do you see what you did, Democrats? Do you see what you did? All right. You pushed things so far out of the realm of like regular people listening to what you're saying and saying, you know what, hold on, I can probably agree with that. Right. I don't agree with that, but I can agree with that. And like what they're agreeing with is not so absolutely egregious that mentally is basically fine here. But now, but what they're doing? Nah, guys. Like I've never seen so many people immediately jumping ship from the Democrats. I've never seen it. All right. You need to kind of bring back, I don't know, bro, some masculine energy into the party, right? Like stop saying, oh, this is a man, get rid of him, right? That type of thing. Unless he likes men, then you can keep him. I think those are the rules here. Guys, not trying to be disrespectful. That's just what it looks like. Like the idea of masculinity, specifically not effeminate masculinity, is absolutely demonized on that side of the aisle, bro. All right. And that's just what it looks like. I'm just telling you what it looks like. From the outside looking in here, I see CNN and there's not a single man with bass in his voice, if that makes any sense here, guys, right? Not a single one. All right. They all have like a Cali Valley girl accent. type of thing. Guys, I'm looking for what a modern day Democrat is saying to me that affects my family personally. Because again, guys, I will not loan my vote out to a single cause that does not affect my family. That's not selfish. All right. Stop voting against your interests. Either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, guys, I'll go and catch you guys later.